right, how's everybody doing? So, been saying I'll do a video like this showing how you can like modify your workout a little bit, especially if, you know, maybe you have bad knees, bad back, surgery. But as always, before you do anything, you should always consult with the doctor. Always, always, always. Okay? Can't stress that enough. But I figured show you what routines that we do at home and how you can modify some. If you haven't seen the live I did with Joe Steele over at The Mindset on like fitness and everything, go over and check that one out. It's on his channel. Now, I'm not just talking to men. This happens all the time. I'm just specifically talking to men. I'm not just talking to men. I'm talking to women too. Even if I have some women subscribers, I'm pretty sure I do. If you're in your 40s, getting into your 50s, you definitely need to lift weights because too much is emphasized on us men. Not enough encouraging of women to get into shape. And I think that kind of needs to change because I actually found out a few things, especially for women specifically start lifting. About when women get in their 40s, especially their 50s and hit menopause, they lose 10 to 20% of their bone density. That's a big number. So I guess statistically, if I remember correctly, once you hit your 50s as a woman and higher, 1 in 5 women will break 1 bone because of that. Case in point, my mother-in-law, she fell, she's like in her 60s. All she does is sit on her couch or in her chair, that's it, doesn't exercise, broke her shoulder. Just bam. So exercise is very important, not just for men, but for women too. So with that being said, let's get into it. So Joe said do push-ups if you're at home, which is great. Yeah, you can do push-ups. What if you can't get on the floor though? And my wife actually pointed this out to me because I've learned a lot from my wife too, because she is becoming a fitness trainer. Table. Table's a good way to do push-ups actually. On average, your basic table is anywhere in your house between 32 and 34 inches high. Max, okay, your average table. So something like this would be perfect, obviously. You get yourself in position, just lean on it, and you know, you can do push-ups on it. Now, granted, if you're gonna use a table, like this one's perfect for that. Make sure you have it up against a wall, because if you don't, 2 things are gonna happen. 1, it's going to be really comical, and 2, it's going to become very tragic at the same time. So, yeah, if you can put it up against the table or a wall, your table up against the wall, and make sure it's stable and heavy, because you don't want it to fall on you neither. So, but let me reset this, and because we brought this up in the live with push-ups, if you're on the ground, how you can do push-ups by altering it. So let me reset the camera and then I'll show you what we were talking about if you caught that live. Okay, so one of the, somebody actually commented this too, how they alter their push-ups, because push-ups is a good way. Joe brought up, you know, it's a good way to do at home, which it is. But if you can't do the traditional push-up, which if you haven't exercised in a long time or you've never done it, yeah, you're not going to be able to. It's going to be very hard because you haven't just built up that strength. So one way you can do it is you're going to use your knees as a pivot point. So can go like that. So basically your knees are acting as a pivot. That's one way you can do it. Now what if you have bad knees? Or you need a knee replacement? There's something called a cobra push-up, which basically you're just gonna lay down flat and just push up. Now granted, you don't want to do it fast because you're going to hurt your lower back. But like my wife pointed out, cobra push-ups are only going to work your triceps, which is okay. You're still working it. So those are basically forms right there that you can do that you can change from doing a regular push-up to modifying it to suit you. Now, weights. Nothing beats or will replace lifting. It just won't. So, I'm going to show you one exercise. I actually have fun doing it. And it's called a renegade row. If you don't know what that is, basically it's going to work your arms, your shoulders, and it helps you engage your core. So, let me get my weights here. So, renegade row, you're going to take a stance like a push-up. And you want to get comfortable. And then, hang on. You got to make sure your legs are far apart. Then you lift. Now, the key point to renegade rows is when you come back down, you don't want to slam it. I wound up doing it because I wasn't stable enough. But what if you can't hold yourself up? Well, learn this from my wife. Now, you noticed whichever side I was lifting, I was kicking that leg out. The reason being is it keeps you from falling over. So, if you want to do renegade rows, but you can't hold yourself up, there's a way you can change it. Still doing the same thing, you're just not engaging your core as much, is all. Now, let's say you want an exercise where you can just chill, lift, and maybe, I don't know, listen to your favorite podcast or whatever. That's when you can just sit there and just do these Arnold presses. You can watch your favorite TV show, favorite podcast, whatever you want. So you're still getting being able to enjoy what you like to do and work out at the same time. Now granted, as you noticed, I dropped weight. These are only 10 pounds. These are 20s. Like I said before, if you need to drop weight, you drop weight. And believe me, when you start doing these, you're going to definitely drop weight. Because we're not used to doing that. That's for sure. So I always drop weight on those. Never ever do I do 20s. Another thing I drop weight on is flies, where you're going like this on the floor or on a bench. I always drop weight because I'm not going to tear up my rotator cuff to build muscle. So I either use 10s when I do flies. Sometimes I'll do 15s, but not very often. A lot of times I just use 10s to do flies. Because again, you don't want to put pressure on your rotator cuff like that. You're going to regret it. And one last thing, let me get these out of the way, is core muscle. I did a video about this before where I did a plank. Now some people say the plank doesn't do anything for you. It does. It'll show you how well your core muscle is developed. 2, it's going to help you to learn how to engage your core muscle. Because I think on average, I have to look this up, you should be able to hold a plank for 60 seconds. So a whole minute, basically, you should be able to hold a plank. If you can't hold a plank for a minute, you lack in your core muscles. So, on Reddit, people will say for this exercise, oh, yes, it's fine to do, you just need proper form. The exercise I'm talking about are sit-ups. Sit-ups are bullshit. Don't do them. Like I said, people on Reddit will argue, oh, you just gotta have good form. That's all. You're just doing them wrong. There's only one way you can do sit-ups, okay? Here's where the problem comes in with sit-ups. When you do sit-ups, you're putting an extreme amount of pressure on your hips and your lower lumbar, the lower back. So what happens is you're putting all that pressure down there as you come up, which can result in you pulling your lower back. Second of all, doing sit-ups does not develop your core. It will not develop your stomach muscles whatsoever. It doesn't do shit for you. High schools still to this day have their students do sit-ups because high schools are slow to change shit. And it's bullshit. They don't do nothing for you. You don't get very much benefit from them. Don't do them. Especially if you value your back. Don't do them. There's no point in doing sit-ups. You want to develop your core muscles, do stomach crunches. Most everybody can do that. Very simple. Do this for a minute. Let me readjust here. So, stomach crunches, which, you know, that's all you got to do. Or the other one is leg lowers. And the key to leg lowers, I found out, is when you bring your legs back down, you don't touch the ground. And then you bring them back up. And that will help develop your stomach muscles and your core muscles. Very simple, very easy. Do stomach crunches for like a minute and see how you feel. It's crazy how quickly you feel it. But hopefully this video encourages some of you who are wanting to get back into shape, but are kind of like, I don't know if I can do it. I have this issue, I have that issue. You can alter any type of exercise. It's just going to take longer. Unfortunately, there's no speedy way of doing it unless you're taking steroids, which aren't very good for you, you know. But as always, like I said, if you need to drop weight, drop your weight. Don't be afraid to do that. Even in the gym, you gotta drop your weight, drop your weight. Just drop it. I do it all the time. Depending on the workout we're doing, I could start off at 15s or 20s, and then towards the end, I'm probably doing 10s because I'm exhausted, you know, or I just had a long day at work, you know, especially if you have a really physical job like I do. You're already beat from the day, so you may not be going as heavy as you normally would, but you're still using them. But like I said, if you're doing something like this, you definitely want to drop weight, especially if you haven't done it before. I can do 2 reps or 2 sets with 15s. Third is kind of pushing it for me. So I'm still working up to be able to do 3 reps or 3 sets with 15s. So I'll drop down to a 10. Because by the third time I'm going in for do a minute of those, whew, my arms are dead. And again, it's because we're not used to doing this with weight. But anyways, hopefully, like I said, you guys found this informative. If you guys want me to, I'll make this regular video from time to time. Hopefully with other ways you can alter your exercise. My wife is better at it than I am. Like I said, everything I've learned from her, and then from other actual professional fitness trainers. Because there's fitness trainers, and then there's fitness trainers, if that makes sense. So, like some people will say, doing the plank doesn't do shit for you, like I said before, but it does. It tells you a lot about your core muscle, and it does help you engage your core muscle, because the more you engage it, the more you're developing it. And like I said, if you do any form of martial arts, swordsmanship, even boxing, you definitely want to develop that core muscle. So, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you found this informative and enlightening for some of you. Like I said, not everybody can do a lot of these exercises, but you can alter it. Hopefully some of these work. And give it a try. Put it in the comments if you give it a try, how it worked out for you and whatnot. And we'll see you on the next one.